Jan, and I am so excited to be back with you. So many of you have asked how I created this enclosed botanical page, and I've been meaning to get things set back up so that I could film that for you, and today we are going to do that. Just a couple of notes. Not everybody has this. Junk journaling is new to some of our folks, and so I have created a freebie that's over on my Ko-fi site, and I'm going to show you in a minute how to use it. But you can, if you haven't already gone to Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Jann Gray, then please do that. Stop the video and go and get it so that you can be fussy cutting and you can craft along with me when we get to that. I'm going to show you how I did this one, and because I feel like that was the thing that was of most interest to you, so I want to be sure and show you what I did, but then I want to give you some alternatives as well. So a couple things that I'm going to say that you'll want in preparation is that you may want to go on a little nature walk and find you some leaves or branches, or you may use the leaves that I've provided in the freebie. But for this, I'm going to use this particular one, and I'm going to, let me move this out of the way so that you have a good look at it. It's really simple, but you may want some help with it. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just taking some ordinary packaging that came with a set of stamps, and I'm going to make a pocket out of it. You want there to be a front and a back, and I'm going to see how much space I need. I just thought that was such an interesting leaf. So I'm going to put that in there. And that's going to be our enclosed botanical. I may need to snip the stem off just a little bit because we don't want a huge. And I don't know if you can see there's a little hole right there, so I'm going to move it down past there and cut so that I don't, because we basically want to encase our greenery or our botanical or whatever it is. The other thing that I'm going to add in here, because we're basically, for those of you that are card makers, we're basically making a shaker. But in junk journaling, we just kind of use junk. And in my original one, for the dirt, I used some tea from a tea bag. So I'm going to cut that open and pour it everywhere when I intended to pour it into here. We won't need that much, but we'll have it. Let me go ahead and get that out of the way so that I'm not distracted by it and you aren't either. So, how is everybody doing? I have been really touched by the number of people that have asked me to do this and have encouraged me and said that they enjoyed my videos. You know, it's been a while. You may get with me is that those of you that know, I have Parkinson's, and so I kind of have to figure out how to make things work in ways that maybe ordinary journalers don't. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I put just a little bit of tea inside this, and I want to be careful because the top and the bottom are open, and I'm going to go sew around that, and when I am done, I will be right back. Okay, so I have sewn all the way around. You can see I used a zigzag stitch, and I'm just going to trim this off just a little bit because we don't need that. And one thing that is fun about junk journaling for me is that I have an opportunity to kind of work as I have the energy and the time and all of those kinds of things. So you could sit down and do a whole bunch of these one afternoon and put them away, and then when the day is, you feel like you have the energy to work on creating and actually putting something in one of your journals. Now you're going to see that this is Barely Arts glue. I'm going to use it. This is just a pen with a knitting needle cap on the end of it, but it keeps the nozzle kind of unstuck, so it's ready when I need it. Okay, put our little shaker on here. This is so much fun. Put it down. We're going to cover that up with some lace or something, so let's see what we've got that we can put down the side there. Cover that up. Got some of this crocheted lace. I'm just going to cut it. And I'm going to use a different glue because when I'm working with fabric, I want to use something like Fabri-Tac or Fabri-Fix. I have just decanted it into a Sugar Bell icing bottle, and that's because my hands need something a little easier to squeeze than the thick walls of the Fabri-Fix. You'll notice I've done the same thing with that. I've made a needle with a little, or a pen. It's just a sewing pen. Get this down in here. And put this along here. And I'm going to put just a little bit underneath here because it's seeming to have a hard time sticking. Come down here. Let's put our lace on, and that's going to hide our seam. So that's fun. And then I thought maybe it would be fun to do something a little different than our other one, and maybe put a butterfly on here. And this is from Taperology, and in the description below, I'm going to show you how to do this on another piece, but Taperology has given us a discount, and so if you will use the discount code when you go to Taperology to find these rub-ons that you can rub onto cloth Oh my goodness, is that not the funnest thing? This is a little bit, because I'm going to be putting it on the plastic and the paper, I'm going to use this Fabrifix glue so that I do not have any danger of it coming up. And this is going to hold down our other side. So the fun thing is we could slip something else in behind there. This could become a little pocket if you wanted it to be. I'm going to give that just a second. Want to go around the edges. I prefer walnut stain. Some people like vintage photo, but you do you. And what's going to be fun is I'm going to have this page. I'm working on several things that are going to be available in my Ko-fi shop for you all. I try to do freebies for you really often because, you know what, when I started out, I had been scrapbooking and crafting for 20-something years, but this was kind of a new thing, and it required new tools, or different tools, or thinner paper, because when I was a card maker, I wanted really thick paper that was going to make it through the process of me mailing it. Ooh, I'm going to take advantage of that. Just kind of do a little mark making on there. And go all the way around this edge. And the fun thing is, you are the creator, so you can do whatever you want. If you don't like to ink, you don't have to ink. So I was going to show you, these are also from Paperology, these little bits of interesting fabrics. I'm going to pull those out because I thought one of them might be kind of fun to put as some texture behind here. What do you think? Do you think that looks cool? You can still see the text. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to trim this off a little bit. And you know what? Maybe use a little piece of washi tape to hold it down at the top. Maybe grab one of these little labels. Washi is our friend. If we do that, now that's going to hold everything in place, and we still have a pocket here. So if you want to put a tag or something in there, that would be fun. Let's put a little bit of ribbon along the bottom, just to kind of balance things out. That's easy to do. And then our page is basically done. That's how simple it is. Now, we may do a little more decoration up there. I'm horrible about going, you know, I'm just going to do a simple little page, and then I see something on my desk and I end up wanting to use it too, and it ends up not being as simple a page as it was. So I'm going to put this down here, and then let's see what I can find over in do we want something like Hello Fall, or put that up? Now I wish, okay, I think I'm going to put that. I don't know. What do you think? I wish that I could talk to you guys. So please, in the comments down below, if you would be so kind, tell me what you thought. Were you going, no, don't put that up there? Or were you saying, no, I kind of like that. Okay, I've got some string. Thread is a junk journaler's. You know, Pam at the Paper Outpost, such a fun journaler. And one of the things that she says is create with reckless abandon. And I love that because we are all creative folks. Some of us feel like we come at it a little more naturally than others, but you know what? We're all creative folks because we're made in the image of God, who is the creator. So that means that we all have a creative bone in our body. Unlike my high school art teacher tried to convince my mother that I did not have a creative bone in my body. Bless her little heart. And you know what? I'm going to put some little, I think 3 little buttons up there just to kind of balance it. And I've got some itty bitty little brown buttons that I will see how well I do. But let's just put 3 dots. 1, 2, 3. Then we'll see how, I should have brought some tweezers in here, but I didn't. So we'll do the best we can. The thing about junk journaling is it does not have to be perfect. It has to be fun. And it has to be yours. And if you like it, that's the only one that matters. There is not junk journal police coming around and saying, you didn't do that right. You were supposed to put ink on there. Or you weren't supposed to put ink on there. You know, it's just, it's what you want it to be. Now, I'm just crazy enough to think I want one other thing. I know, I'm the enabler. Okay, these are bulb pins and just some buttons from my stash. And I think they would be fun to hook into this lace, come up and just be a little dangle. Now here's something I'm going to tell you. Okay, I love that. And somebody, please somebody remind me to put the ink back on my ink pad or it will dry out, and put the pen back in my glue, or the benefit of having that little nozzle. need to put my readers on so that I can see where that is. I'll do that later. But look at our fun little fall enclosed piece. Anybody can do this. You can totally do it. If you don't have these supplies, I want to show you what you can do with the freebie. If you go over to Ko-fi.com, my shop, which is Jann Gray, Janngray, and let's make a page, an embellishment to go into one of our journals with the things that are there, okay? Okay, you can totally tell that I am out of practice. You probably want to see what it would look like in a journal. And so here it is. And the reason, one of the things that I was going to say is that the side that you choose to put kind of the bulkier items, that needs to be on the outside, because as you make your journal, it's going to get to be a chunky monkey. And having things at the spine makes that even more likely. So if you're going to put some things like these little dangly buttons, I love how this thread kind of pulls in the color of the butterfly and the leaf. But I've put them over here on the outside, so I'm going to put them on the left-hand side of the page. And I've totally forgot to show that to you, but who doesn't want to see what it looks like on a journal page? Okay, so here is the freebie that you can download and print out. And one of the things that I have done is around each of the leaves, I've put just a little bit of an extra, maybe 1/16 of an inch, in the same color that is on here, so you don't have to feel like you have to be really, really super careful when you fussy cut them. Because you know what? Fussy cutting is not my favorite thing. But you can see how when I put it on here, it almost disappears, right? So that's something that I do for those of us that maybe our eyesight isn't quite what it used to be, but we still want and need and ought to be creating as often as we want to. It's cheaper than therapy, folks. It really is. You have the opportunity to just sit and be with your thoughts and let what's inside of you come out. Here's what I want to show you. You may think those are just way too big. The journal that I want to put this in is smaller. Well, let me tell you that I make things at what I think is going to be as large as somebody is going to want to do it. But when you print it out, you can print 2 to a page, 4 to a page. You've got all kinds of options so that you can get things the size that you want them to be. I'm going to work with the larger size because, why, Jan? Why are you going to work with the larger size? Well, I'm going to work with the larger size because it is easier for my friends who are on the other side of the camera to see. So I've already cut these out, and if I wanted to, I could trim these a little closer. In fact, I think I will, just because I'm going to want it to slip easily into the bag. These are the Tim Holtz 9-inch scissors. And you know what? I used to love using teeny tiny scissors. But I have found that with a little bit shakier hand, I can get a longer, straighter cut just by using a little bit larger scissors. Who knew? I've been fighting with those smaller ones all this time. Okay, so I'm going to cut the top off of here. And I'm going to make sure it's going to fit in there. It is. So I'm going to just cut off down here for right now. And let's decorate. Let's decorate our page. Now, something that you may notice is that I have put a dotted line all the way around it because I thought some of you might not have a sewing machine. You know, not everybody has a sewing machine. So I'm going to use these, and I think I'm glad I saved that Hello Fall. This is one of those things that I just made one afternoon. I was not really in the mood to create a whole big thing. I'm just going to put this book here to glue on. Turn these over. I use Scotch permanent glue stick. Not sponsored, just like it. And I use a book that would have, it came in the mail, would go in the trash, so that okay, just going to stand up to make sure I like what we're doing here. Yes. Put some glue on here. On my Ko-fi site, I told you there were freebies, and one of the things that are freebies are some labels, and I'm going to grab my little folder. I have a little folder of, you would think I would know where they were, but they are not right here and easy for me to find. Ah, here they are. They come in blue, brown, and red. Some of them are clear or just plain or empty, and some have some collage in them. So I want to use one of those down in here. You could ink these up, but I didn't really want to emphasize the edge. So let me see what we have here. Ooh, this could be pretty. Put that down there. Let's do that. That's at the full size, and just so you know, the labels, you can print those at whatever size you like. Okay? So, no worries. You can, and I'm trying to put things that are freebies onto the website so that it's easy for you to begin to build up your own stash. Now, I'm going to go sew around this, but I've done a dotted line stitch so that you, if you don't feel like sewing or not a sewist, you have the look of the sewing without actually sewing. So let me go do that and I will be right back. Okay, so why didn't one of you all yell at me that I did not put tea in our little shaker bag? It's not your fault. It's me. It's totally me. So let me grab a page for us to put this on. I think this would be pretty. Lovely. And because we did not, and you'll notice I leave my little threads, again, totally personal choice, because this is not see-through. I am going to use my Fabrifix to put it on here, and I'm going to move it a little bit over to the right because I'm going to do, you know what, I want to put some fabric, some lace down underneath there, and I love it actually coming off the page so that it kind of looks a little raggedy. And let's use that little, I am going to ink that up. You know, everybody gets to do what they want to do. I want to emphasize that just a little bit. And I'm going to just put some glue stick on here. Really nice. And if you wanted to, you could go and sew around that as well for a little bit of a different look. And I'm going to leave this because I don't know what's saying, but you could line the bottom of it with the lace that was on the freebie. You could have a leaf sticking out. You could even put a few little branches going up the side. Remember, just to put your bulky things on the outside. Let's see what that would look like in our journal. Isn't that pretty? See how that lace goes over the edge, and it gives, when it's closed, there's kind of an indication, a visual indication that something really spectacular is going to be there. So super simple. This is way number 2 to create a enclosed botanical if you don't have any botanicals to work with. So there you go. That's 2. I've got one more. Okay, so maybe a third way is one that, I'll be honest, I didn't think of until I was working on trying to think how can we make this as simple as possible. And so I took a page that was probably going to go into a journal like this. I was going to sew it as a signature into the journal. And then I decided, I don't know. Okay, well, I'll do that. But what could I do with an enclosed botanical? And back in my card making days, Waffle Flower came out with these shaker covers. Okay, these were the coolest things. They actually got me to make shaker cards, because part of the problem with shaker cards for me was that I didn't like building up the foam and doing all the things, and this just enclosed it for you. So I'm going to use one of these square. This is a 3.5 inch square. Comes in a 5-pack. I've listed it. I know that every day I get messages from people saying, where do you get this? How did you do that? And so rather than do individual emails, one of the things that I've done is I've made a store on Amazon, since we all seem to shop there. See, fortunately it told me to remove the protective film. So I'm going to do that if I can manage to. Do you hear the kitty? I have learned to love kitty cats. I've always been a dog person, but my niece has two little kitty cats, Marie and Toulouse. Okay, I don't know why I'm struggling with this, but of course on camera I'm going to. Maybe it's because it's I don't know. Here, let me turn the camera off and get this off. And then not make you watch the struggle. Okay, you're really glad that I turned that off. Now, can you see that against there? Or would it be easier to see against something like this? Okay, so here's what I want to do before I enclose I cut a 3.5 inch square out of there. And remember, I told this big journaling page, I had all kind, I printed 4 to a page so that I would have it smaller. So that's how I was able to do that. Here's what it looked like when it was printed 4 to the page, and then I cut out a 3.5 inch square. But one of the things that I can do to this before we get started is I can put some rub-ons on it, and these are rub-ons from Taperology. They go on cloth. These are some of my favorite rub-ons ever. They're so easy to use. You just cut them out. Okay, I'm going to move that over to the side. And I'm going to do these 2 little hydrangea, because on my nature walk, I found some hydrangeas and I thought it would look kind of like a shade tree. So I want to put the little blossoms down here in the bottom. And that's going to be easier to do before we have all the bumpy other things in there. So I'm going to take the backing off of this, and I'm going to put it down in the corner, down here. I'm going to take my bone folder, and I'm just going to rub it onto the plastic. Sorry, that makes everything shake. We're still working on a good option for filming. And look how nicely that pulls right off. And then I'm going to put one, take the backing off. I'm going to just layer those up, making sure that it's over the edge. Use my bone folder again. See if we got it come off the way we wanted. Yes. Isn't that beautiful? Get all of our trash out of the way. Okay, I'm going to move the journal out of the way while we work. And the way that these work is they have these flaps. And I have found that you want to really use your bone folder and press them nice and flat. The bigger ones come with sticky tape on them, but this size does not. So we're going to be a little creative in how we do all of this. Okay, so going to cut the off, and I want to put that up here so you can still see the girl, which means I need to trim just a little bit. And I'm going to, you know what, I'm actually going to use some hot glue just for the sake of speed, okay? I usually would not do that, but for filming purposes, I want to make sure that it's good and stuck. I'm going to take that off because I want her face to show on here. Okay, so we've got that, and now let's put her in the little clear envelope. And my machine is strong enough that it would actually stitch through all of this. But you know what? I'm not sure that I think that might actually be distracting. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some washi tape and make sure that's down good and tight. But how easy is it to work with these little shaker pouches? You know, sometimes doing it the hard way is worth all the effort that we put into it. And then sometimes it just isn't. If there's an easier way to do it, let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to use my hot glue again, just for the sake of making sure that I get it down there nice. And let's see if we can find a little bit of lace. I think she needs just a little bit of lace. So we'll do that. We'll put her down here. I'm going to trim our lace off. And remember, we had that hydrangea little piece from our freebie. So I'm going to ink it up. And I'm going to put that right up here. And then remember, I told you that there were freebie labels. One of the blue collage labels. I'm going to pull that over so you can see the says blessing. I don't know. Do we want that? I think I kind of like it just the way it is. Maybe put a couple of these little sticks that I had. See, got an idea. You never know. Sometimes you don't know you need an idea until you're in the middle of things. So I'm gonna tie that up as a little bundle. I'm gonna wrap several times around and then just tie a knot. Let's see if we can do that. I like those little sticks. Just tie a knot. That'll keep them together. Trim the ends off kind of short. Let's see where we want those. Do we want those coming up the side here? That would be kind of fun, sticking out the edge. Or do we want to put them over here underneath our, you know what? They don't want to go over there, that's for sure. How about we just put them across the top up here? I kind of like that. That gives us a break between where she is and what is going on with the rest of the page. So I'm going to put just a little bit of hot glue right on here. Again, not always sure that hot glue would be my go-to, except it's just so fast and easy. All right. So there we go. There's our third way of doing the enclosed botanical. Let me bring our journal back in here. Let's look and see if we like it. I think that is really pretty. I think it's pretty. I love the kind of triad of the dried botanical, the little card that has the hydrangea on it, and then a couple of the leaves as well. So let's look at what we did. All of our options. This was our first one that was like our original. Like how that turned out. That's very fun. That's my dog Mira, announcing that there's somebody at the door. This is our second version. This is what we did with the freebie. And then this is our third version where we used the shaker cards. So I hope that one of these is going to appeal to you and that you will have fun making your own enclosed botanical. Let me tell you just a couple of things that will help me a lot, because I'm a one-woman business here, and if you use the links below on the Amazon, it does not cost you anymore, but I get a small commission from that, and that helps me create content for you all. So I would really appreciate it if you would do that. If you would like and subscribe, even though I've been doing this since 2009, YouTube sent me a letter recently saying you haven't been active enough lately, and so we are going to demonetize you, which means that they are making money off of all of the videos that I created, over 200 and something of them. But you know what? If we get enough folks watching, and we can get that back. So if you are new to my channel, go back and watch some of my old ones, and be sure and like and comment, and I read all of your comments. In fact, one of the reasons that I chose to do this particular video today first was because of a lady named Donna who wrote me a comment on, she found me accidentally, and she was looking for of all things, a poinsettia card. And I do have one. I have several poinsettia cards. And she said, and I just wanted to see if, because it was from so long ago, I wanted to see if you were still doing anything. And she was happy to see that I was. And she reminded me that we need to create because it's in us to create. And I want to encourage you, even if you can't create the way you used to, that you're the only one that you're doing it for, and enjoy it and have fun with it. I want to show you a couple of other things, because one of the things that I have started doing, let me grab these things out from underneath here, see if we can get everything. Ko-fi, I am not putting my printables on Etsy. They, by the time you pay the fee for putting it on there and the fee for them processing it, it really isn't worth the time. So I am using Ko-fi, and let me write that out for you. It's ko-fi.com/Jann Gray. And that will take you to my page. And I've created a membership where if you know that you're going to have fun and want to support me for as little as $5 a month, and Ko-fi doesn't take anything from the donations, which I think is really amazing. I will send you a free printable. This is the September 2003 one. And once you become a member, you can get all of the printables. I thought we were doing botanicals, and it was fall, so I thought I would do some fall dictionary and ledger papers. So that is September 2003 membership. You have to be a monthly member in order to get that, but I have enabled it so that past members can get those as well. And then our next project is going to be what I'm calling a faith folio. And I'm going to show you how to put this together. I have all the bits and pieces in here, but if you want to work ahead, that is listed in the shop, and you could go ahead and get it and get all of your fussy cutting done. And I just think this will be a fun thing. I've made it so that as you fill it up, you can replace this kind of like a traveler's notebook. I've created one of the embellishments to be a little prayer journal. It may just be that you want to do a study of a particular chapter. This is based on some of my artwork that I did when I was doing Bible journaling. And I still Bible journal because it's still such an important part of my heart. I just don't share it as much because my hands get a little shaky. But I will show you how to put this together. You'll notice that I'm using some of the labels from those freebies. So that is, you get all the parts and pieces and lots of extra things as well. And so my next video is going to be that faith folio. And then I wanted you to see the autumn harvest, I think is what it's called. And this is the largest collection that I've put together. I've done toppers for if you want something a little more vintage or something a little more bright. You get lots of embellishments in various sizes. I've done the same thing that I did on the freebie by putting a little bit of extra around the pages, around the things that you're cutting out to make them easier for cutouts. These are some little journaling cards. This is a background. Oh, I love sunflowers. So this could be a focal page or it could be a journaling page. It just kind of depends. We have a whole page of words of all kinds of fall things. This is I kind of made it into an old vintage Dura type kind of look. And then you've got the background that kind of matches that. We've got journaling cards. We've got a couple of pages that are journaling pages that you could put on the back of focal images. I have some little envelopes for you. You get one of the membership pages. We have fall fruits and some little journaling cards. There is so much packed into this particular collection, but I wanted you to have it because it's going to take a little while to cut things out, and it's going to be the next thing we do after we do the faith. I just wanted you to see what some of these pages look like. Have some collage. We have some focal pages, and then we have lots of room for journaling. Maybe something, I thought this would be a great center page in one of the signatures. So I thought that would be really fun. Have this fun little church that shows up in different places. Here's some smaller little pocket cards with these little pocket notes that go in there. This is one of the backgrounds. This is the page without the collage on it. That made everybody to each his own, she said as she kissed the cow, my grandmother used to say. This is one of the backgrounds that we have. And then we have this concertina card front, and we've done, it's two-sided, and I'll show you how to put all of this together, but it folds up and goes into this little corner pocket, and I just think it's so much fun. We're going to have the best time putting this together. So thank you so much for being with me. We're going to do a premiere for this, and then open it up for everybody. So I hope you will join us, and if you are new to the channel, please subscribe so that YouTube knows that I haven't disappeared, and that you will be informed the next time I do content. Because while the next big project is going to be the Faith Folio, I may do one of those work-along days. I may just turn the camera on when I am in the middle of doing just a few little things, so you can see how I do that. Anyway, bye guys. I am so grateful for you, and I appreciate you, and I thank you for sticking with me. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.